I have done enough in opposition, Sowunmi announced to the news in full. Former presidential spokesman Chief Segun Sowunmi is among the chieftains of the leading opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP). And now you have done enough in opposition, abi? You want to go to APC, abi? Bye bye now. Championing reforms in the party not too long, indicated interest in the position of PDP national chairman. In this conversation with newsmen, he talks about the idea of merger among the opposition parties, intra-party feud, questions about compromise and ego, and his plan for the next election year, 2027. Kunle Odeyemi brings some excerpts. The question: there are fears in certain quarters that Nigeria is gravitating towards one-party states. Do you share the same concerns? He said people talk about this a lot. Some whisper it, some say it loudly around the opposition parties, and some interpret the movement of some stakeholders in the opposition parties to the All Progressive Congress (APC) to mean that Nigeria is moving towards that direction. Some also look at the way the major opposition parties are being administered or projected to express that view, but I have a fairly balanced opinion on it. One opposition parties, PDP, Labour Party, LP, and all others, cannot refuse to invest in themselves, review their own processes, clean up their own acts, determine and recast the ideological differentiation between them and others, destabilize their own organization with excessive litigation printed as if, while the ruling party is busy struggling with the fundamentals of the economy, that the worst from the opposition is that they will do nothing for themselves, with themselves, and they come screaming Nigeria is going into one-party state. On the other hand, there is this often mentioned assumption without evidence that it is the people individual that are destabilizing the opposition through the back door. I do not buy that. I believe that members of the opposition are not kids, nor incapable of knowing what is in their own best interest. What is beginning to look like Nigeria is going into a one-party state, if you ask me, must be the fear that they cannot win the next election. Even that fear is excessively exaggerated and unfounded. There are 93 million registered voters in this country as of the last count, with about 87 million who collected their permanent voters card previously. The ruling APC that won the election or allocated 8.7 million votes cannot give the impression that they are not giving numbers to strengthen the opposition. Invariably, what I'm saying is that if Nigeria is going into a one-party state, it will simply be because we have not accepted the idea that the contest for power, either at the national or subnational level, is truly a contest of both sides. Elections are referendums in two ways. It is a referendum on the ruling party and how the citizens perceive its work and its impact on them. It is also a referendum on the hope of what the opposition party will bring to the people in a realistic manner. Our situation in Nigeria is a little bit tough because somehow we have seen significant voter apathy, mostly occasioned by people believing that their votes don't count. I don't know how they came to that kind of conclusion. Does it count? Does it? I beg. The excessive demonization of the judiciary, which is now probably giving people the impression that even the courts cannot adjudicate fairly, which I don't accept. Don't accept it now. Don't accept it, but we know that they do not adjudicate fairly. And the fact that unfortunately the government at the center is one that can dispense political appointments, and a great number of people do not have the discipline to wait where they are. I can say this boastfully because you know me, I've been in PDP since 1998, when this party was formed, and I've never left. My not leaving PDP is not born out of the fact that I don't see the challenges, or I don't see the opportunities that those who decamp to the other side saw. I don't believe in just decamping to other parties, but I must admit very quickly that in the coming days, one may now begin to see things differently. All the parties in Nigeria seem to have the same ideology. We have to now look at where we can find like-minded people to come together. Now so. The interviewer asked again, you said there is need for the like minds to come together as a credible opposition. Can we view your recent meeting with some personalities like a former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa retired, with the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party (SDP), Shehu Musa Gabam in Abuja as a step to achieve your desire? He said, yes, you can. It is not as if there is a settled position on the platform. No. It's not just that there is a great belief that for this democracy to be sustained, we must not yield to the laziness of doing it the way we have always done it and expected different results. If they are too weak to get it done by themselves, then there is nothing wrong with us having conversations, meetings and greetings, and hopefully Since it is becoming real that the rumor making the rounds that some parties are even already in bed with the ruling party, then they do not even deserve to participate in the next election. People are now thinking of the next step to take. He said, what were the issues discussed at the meeting? He said, we talked about what we can do to sustain this democracy. What else can be done to make sure that our country has stability? How do we ensure that the country does not sit down on its tribal fault lines? How do we start to make sure that we remind ourselves of the creed of nationalism so that our new nationalists can begin to stand up? I remember saying to them at that meeting that, look, I am a man who usually accepts the reality of today. Today's reality is that President Bola Tinubu is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that his first term is guaranteed until 2027. That one is a sure banker. God willing, and it is his right, and it has become tradition for the right of first refusal of his party. That I am more about the morning after. We must also be clear that the generation of men that have been running elections for decades are becoming aged now. So even if we don't do anything, we must begin to plan succession. Surely in that plan of succession, it should be reasonable to have the buy-in of everybody so that we will not have a person at the right time that will resemble what we have now. We should go beyond the primordial sentiment of, oh, he's Yoruba, Fulani or Igbo. I think we have enough of that. The country was amalgamated in 1914 and we got our independence in 1960. Time and experience ought to teach us that it is now right for us to say enough. During that meeting, the interviewer asked, were you able to reach conclusions on some of the proposals raised about the current state of the nation? He said, well, within the context of what you are asking, we did not try to make it that type of meeting. It is subsequently that we will now begin to settle to the serious business of how we proceed from here. I don't believe in confusion or saying I am leaving my party, but I also don't believe that this country should not be well administered, as you have to know. Whatever 200 people are doing in a meeting, even if it is for the purpose of the presidency, they must be discussing one person. It is just one chair, and that one chair can only be occupied by one person at a time. So how do we design a political engagement for a population like Nigeria that can accommodate more people, that can give people a better sense of belonging, that can communicate to the citizens that no, your leaders are one, they are trying to be fair, doing the great hard work, ensuring that your country, our country, can be the best version of itself. We hear you. Said, I have too many things to contribute to development and government. I have done enough in opposition. I want to be in government now. Okay, and by the grace of God, I'll be in government in 2027. Go ahead, you've tried. You've been in PDP since 1998, so no wahala. Ademola Olosunde says, it's a shame hearing Sowunmi saying he does not like to be in opposition again. The man is completely confused. Omi aye òṣèlú tí ń gbé ẹ lọ. He talks from both sides of his mouth. Whenever I see him talking on media, he talks like a confused and restless man. Can you remember what he said about Jagaban and APC? There is no money to share again in PDP. He's looking for what to eat. ABTD. Now so, hunger don't come. My listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.